Morning, everybody. Jim Adkins here from Adkins Results Coaching. Wearing the old felt hat probably for the last 2 days of this season. Those of you that know anything about cowboy hats or anything about wearing hats, felt hat usually when it's colder outside, or you get a summer hat later. You tell people that, and they don't really understand what's going on. But this one is getting pretty old. It's almost time to retire it, I think. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I got a question for you that's been going through my mind regarding what people think about you and who are you? Who are you really to other people? When we ask this question, we generally come up with an answer that it doesn't matter what other people think about you. It's really none of your business. And that's a good way to look at it for people who don't mean anything to you. And I guess it could trickle into, some of the people that are close to you. If they misunderstand or you are misrepresented to them and they really don't know who you truly are, do you find yourself trying to explain yourself or trying to reintroduce yourself to people? This is the question I have. And it came to me, and it's running through my life right now in the form of my adult children. Now, as an adult child myself, and what I mean by that is I'm not childish, but maybe sometimes. But as I grew trying to become an adult away from my parents, my perception of my parents changed. It wasn't due to anything that they were doing in life after I moved on. It just I in thinking about this, and I'm not clear that, me, I run off at the mouth before I get a full thought. So this is a process for me, and I'm processing it as as I go through this. But I love to share so that the updates I have, you can help share your feedback and share what you think, and then maybe we can move forward together. So see if you can follow me here. When I was younger, just like anybody else, I'm sure you notice the contention between parenting and your freedom. Your parents are always mean and nothing's fair at a certain age. And then you get a little older and you find out that you want to do some things that they don't want you to do. And then that's not fair. And then you put them in a certain position of, and not everybody, but some people put them in put them in a certain position of authoritative control, where you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, as well, right? That's where it was. And that relationship has a tendency to paint a picture of who you think they are. Then you get to see them outside the realm of parenting, like my stepdad. My real dad died when I was 9. My real dad, Jim, my biological father, died when I was 9. So I really didn't get to know him a whole lot. I'm going to talk about that, though, too. My stepdad, Rod, was a stepdad for a short amount of time. But I'll tell you what, in the house was one thing. And we had 7 kids. So bless his heart, not losing his mind or my mom losing her mind was a task in itself. But I got to see him out and about with his buddies, some of the deputy sheriffs in Coolidge, Arizona, and some of the people that he would go hunting with. And when we go to the desert with his cousins, or my cousins, I guess they were brothers, right? Aunts and uncles. He was different, away from the kids. And I got to see him in a different light. And it changed the way I felt about him. Now, of course, I'm an older child now at the time, so my perception was a little different of the authoritative part of it. And as a step parent, I'm sure he took a back seat to what my mother wanted. Now, my mom, on the other hand, had some other issues. So, and growing up, I painted her in a certain light. Well, as we grow up and we look back, everybody, I think, at least it's been my experience in my coaching world, in my martial arts world, and with me personally, we get to that point where we're leaving the house and one or two things happen. You either hate your background and growing up, and you despise it, and you rebel against it. And some people even change their name, and they just don't want anything to do with it, or you appreciate it. Which camp did you fall into? With me, I was neither here nor there. I was ready to move on, and I went. And I was capable of leaving all of that crap behind me and moving forward. Not everybody can do that. But as I grew older, and now at 56, I find that my mother, no matter what um, failed attempts at being the best parent she had, and listen, we all fail at times trying to do our best as parents. There's no playbook. And then you learn from it, you move on. So no matter what happened in the past with her, it's irrelevant. At this point in my life, she's become somebody who I mean, it's not like I never cared for her. That's not the truth. But now she's mom. You know what I mean? I don't have any ill will at all, um, or bad memories at all. I can search back and find things if I wanted to that were uncomfortable, but I choose not to. There's no reason to do that. This is mom. And today I love her more than ever. Make sense? How about you? How do you weather in this circle of questions? And I'll tell you where I'm headed with this. I have 7 kids of my own. And they're all different ages, of course. and as they grew up and left the nest, each one carried with them a different experience. And I'm not kidding. Some of them, you talk to some of them throughout the years, and you'd think they lived in different houses. It was amazing, some of the things that they remembered that weren't even there in our memories. But that's how it happens, right? Life is an accumulation of memories. And you get to choose, and I'm going to repeat this, you get to choose the ones you keep. So my kids, they're grown up, they moved on, and right now, all of them have moved out. We're empty nesters. And they're all, for the most part, with the exception maybe one and a half, are doing incredible, doing great. And I'm very proud of all of them. And when I talk to them now, and some of them are, in their 30s, and I don't think they truly know who I am as a person. And I'm sure they think they do, just like I did of my parents and maybe some of you. So this has been on my mind lately, where in a normal circumstance, I truly don't pay attention to what everybody thinks of me. I do my best to be a good person all the time. My life is about serving and helping other people and making people happy through music and with my voice, and helping this way. And I do it sincerely. I don't do it for pats on the back. I don't do it, applause, but I'm an applause junkie when I get on stage. But realistically, I do it from my heart. And so when I represent myself, I hope that the true me comes through. And if it doesn't, I don't really chase the opportunity to try and change your mind. I try not to. That's kind of, it's not nothing worthwhile is a waste of time, but really, it's not how I want to spend my time. Make sense? You too? Okay, but with my kids and even some of my extended family, recently, I find that it's more important to me that they have a true impression of who I am, good or bad. I'm not sure why that is. Well, I can guess why that is. How do you feel about that? Misrepresented, misrepresent, or misunderstood? Do you think it's important? And I know part of the answer would be spend more time with them. And we plan on it, probably more time than they want us to. If you think about it, you never wanted your parents really to come and spend a bunch of time with you, but we're going to go pick on them, travel around, and see them as much as we can, even if it's 1 hour, one day at a time. And that will help. And I think that's probably the ultimate answer is just get around them more now that they're adults and have them, see that. So that's where I'm at with that. How are you? Um, I do want, let's see, what else did I write? I wrote a couple of notes. It's not like me, right? Um, how do you see other people? And these are separate questions. How do you see other people? Do you look at them through a lens of paradigms that you already have set? Do you look at them through preconceived ideas of what they should or could be? Do you look at them with prejudice? Do you look at them through eyes of prejudice? And I know that racism has become a big topic, but how do I say this politely? People that drop the race card and say you're racist all the time need to shut the hell up and stop doing that. You're perpetuating the stupidity. So knock it off. But there are people who do look at things through a prejudiced or a racist type eye. And that's okay. I will be honest and say that I do the same thing. And it's not about color at all. It's about attitude, presentation, and sometimes words. And the way people speak will put me into an expected mode of, okay, I think I know who this person is. And until you get to know them, is that fair? I don't know, I'm rambling now, but question for the day. Do you look at people through a lens? And if you do you feel that it might be a reflection of who you are? I don't know. Simple question. I told you I was going to repeat this. I'm going to drive this home. This is something I want my kids to remember. This is something I want my brothers and sisters to remember. This is something I want my students to remember and my friends. And if you don't fall into any of those categories, try to remember it too. Life is an accumulation of memories, and you get to choose the ones you keep. Think about that. I'll see you next time. I hope this helped. These are just my ramblings. You know how I am. So until next time, on your mark, get set, grow. That way, not that way.